What's up, everybody? Welcome back to yet another episode of the Nick Williams Show. My name is Nick Williams. I'm an independent filmmaker and producer north of Boston. And today I have a long-awaited guest, Mr. Andrew Connelly from
for having me.
Big Red Productions. It's I can't imagine where you would get the name Big Red.
No, yeah, a lot of soul searching for that one.
Yeah, I bet. So I don't know you too well. And I'd like to know you, and I'd love to work with you on some things because you make some really cool stuff. And we were just talking about this right before we started, how up until I kind of discovered your stuff, I think it was through either a post on Facebook, either in a group that we're both in, or one of the posts that you made.
Yeah, just spamming different Facebook accounts.
Right. I saw it in my feed, and I was like, oh, let me click this. Like, that's good. I thought you were like a PA grip trying to get into stuff. You're not. I mean, nobody's as loud as I am, but like you're not the most like loud, outspoken person. And we met on a set from a mutual filmmaker guy, and you were like a grip or a PA.
Yeah, I was working. I had just started an internship with Hop Top Films with Evan.
Oh, that's right.
So I was.
He's gonna be on, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
he's great.
On.
He got me my start and everything. He showed me. I'd been on one film set. Like when I was 19, I got invited to a film set, so that was the first time I saw like real lights on a set. But then for years after that, I was doing nothing, and then I was working, and I was on Facebook at work, and I just saw a friend suggestion for Evan Schneider.
Yeah,
and I looked at his account, and it said owner of Hop Top Films, and I was desperate for an internship because I was going in senior year of college.
Yeah,
so I just friended him, and I messaged him like, hey, is there any way I could intern for you? I just need to do something over the summer to get credits for a class, blah blah blah, and I want to learn the film set in the industry and everything. He's like, yeah, jump on. So he just started throwing me on a bunch of different sets around Boston that summer.
That's crazy. So wait, where not your street address, but where are you from? Like where do you live?
Scituate, Mass. So south of Boston, South Shore area.
How was the drive up? Was it okay? Wasn't too bad the drive up?
I live in South Boston now. So I drove from Southie.
That makes sense, and we'll touch on that.
Yes, exactly. So that was it was like a 30-minute drive. The only hard part is getting out of Southie. I am terrible at driving the city.
I hate
nightmare.
I hate it.
I don't have a car anymore, so I got rid of it.
I have some corporate clients in the city that I deal with, and only on shoot days will I go into the city.
Yeah.
There's no other reason for me to go in there. It's too crowded. I'm a very easily claustrophobic person.
Yes, especially with driving, it's just a nightmare.
And it's not me that I'm worried about. It's like everybody else. You never know who's going to be driving and looking at their phone or whatever. It does none of that.
I have to turn off the radio when I'm driving in the city. I'm just like, it's too much.
I can't listen to music. That's so funny. I'm exactly the same way. So the first film of yours that I saw, and I want to touch on a whole bunch of things because you have like quite a YouTube presence as well.
Yeah, I've had a YouTube account since I was 10, and I was before
filmmaking or anything.
Yeah, well, I was filmmaking with my brothers since I was like 5 because my older brother was in it a bit, and he was the director. He was on with the camera, and I was acting in the movies.
Okay. I want to dig into your current career self as much as we can. But we do have to cover the basics. Mm-hmm. So who are you? Where are, you're from Scituate, you said?
Yes.
What got you into filmmaking? Did you go to film school? All that crap. Let's get that out of the way first.
All right. So yeah, I guess to start with my brother, Joe, we would vacation in Maine every year and
always brought a camera.
It was the DV tapes. So
yeah, those are the best, dude. That's what I started with.
I love DV tapes. I mean, I still have a Canon GL2 that's fun to shoot on just for like little nostalgic purposes.
Back in the day, not to cut you off, I'm sorry. The coolest thing ever when I was in like 7th, 8th grade, so it was like 06, 07, 08 in that time, my buddy's dad had a Canon XL1.
Yes, yeah.
Do you remember those?
Yeah.
The one that's like shaped like an L almost, and it like sits on your shoulder, and it was like a big camera with this like mini DV tape.
It just makes you look professional when you're walking around with it.
I was like, I want one of those so bad.
Yeah.
You couldn't pay me to use one of those right now. Like it's so crazy.
It's on tape, right?
Right. But it was a funny thing. I had a little tiny camcorder, and I loved it. I used it and would re-record over those DV tapes. Exactly. I used Final Cut Pro, and you had to like sit there and play the tape, and it would record into the editing software.
That was my brother's job. I never had to do any of that.
It's crazy. If you had like a little adjustment on the editing settings, like there'd be lines in all of the stuff. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, it's
just like in the audio gets all messed up.
Random. And you're just like, you know what? I'm doing it. Doesn't matter. Like it was fun though. It
Well,
was
yeah, we have some like I think we have some like I don't think they're online, but we have some DV tape short films where we have a story, but then because some got rewinded, there's just a clip of like a something else we filmed
yeah.
just in the middle of the scene, and then it goes back to the scene.
Yes, dude. Oh, I love that. That's so funny. Yeah, that's and there's no inhibition. Like you're totally just doing something because it might look cool. And
Yeah,
that's the best kind of filmmaking to me. Like I'm the guy on set where it's like, let's have a shot list, that's fine. But then if we all do our job and get the shots done, let's like tie a rope to the camera and hang it upside down from the ceiling
yeah,
on
let's
this
get
thing.
fun with let's have fun with it.
Right? Like why be boring?
Yeah, exactly. If
Why, you know what I mean? It's so
you have the time, people want to do it, just go for it.
if you have the
Yeah,
time,
that's the problem. A
you
lot of
know?
people just don't have the time. A lot of time you're overtime.
Right. So yes, that's very interesting. So you were up in Maine, and I'm assuming when you were on vacation up there, you made films with your brother. And
Yeah, exactly. So every day we'd vacation with some other friends of the family, and I'd bring my Hulk costume up, and my brother, the older brother, would direct these Hulk videos. So we
that's
had,
cool.
we just kept.
You were the Red Hulk.
That would have been a great idea. No, I had the green costume. I had the Hulk hands. The first episode we didn't have a mask, so it's just the costume and no mask. But then the budget grew. A few years later, when I was 8, and I got a mask, and then
Nice.
so we just made a bunch of different Hulk episodes up in Maine. And we didn't do anything with them for years. We just had them for our own enjoyment. We're like, oh, this is sweet. But then when I was 10, I made a YouTube account and we uploaded
Mhm.
all these Hulk videos. Uh, and over time, they got huge. They got like millions of views.
That's insane.
We're like, what is going on? They just got a huge fan following in like different countries, like Brazil, uh, Mexico. I just was checking the analytics. It was just millions of views from these countries. And there was like a small fandom when I was like 11.
That's
It
crazy.
was weird, but it was pretty fun to see.
But you at the time you were acting. Were you editing those videos, or was your brother
My
editing?
brother, so
He was the film guy,
he was the whole film guy, and
and you were just the Hulk.
I was just the actor. Yeah, I was the
Right.
talent.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I see. I see. So when did that swap over for you? Like when did you say I want to be behind the camera?
I think when I was in middle school, my brother's in college. I said, "Hey, can I borrow a camera? Because I want to make some funny videos with my friends."
Sure.
So filmed the video, barely ended the editing, and then I just got really into it. So my friends would come over after school.
Mhm.
We'd film just a dumb sketch or something in the woods, and then I would edit it, have it out the next day, and then people started to like it, and so I was like, I really enjoyed this. So I started searching. My whole education was on YouTube. How do you edit this? How do you film
Same.
that?
So did you go to film school?
I went to UMass Amherst. No, I took like some film classes. My major was business and film, so I took a lot of business classes, and then I took, uh, some just basic run of the mill production courses, which just so I could have the credits, but it wasn't really.
A huge deal.
Yeah, it wasn't like going to NYU or anything.
Right. Okay.
They're growing now. They are trying to get a film department at UMass.
Yeah. Everybody wants a film department.
Yeah, I
now. mean,
everyone wants to get into it.
some people get like weirded out by that. Like filmmakers get weirded out by that, and I don't like it's too much competition or it's whatever. And I don't know. I'm kind of the impression like if you make good stuff, then you shouldn't be worried about like if everybody has a camera but you make really good stuff, why would you be worried? Because if everything else is crap,
Yeah, then you'll
Then
be
you-
the shining
right?
star.
Like you'll still shine through. You know what I mean? But like you'll have more like I'm big on community over competition, if that
Mhm.
makes sense. Like I don't care if you make if I'm making a film and you make a film and you get into 7 festivals and I get into none, I'm not like, oh fuck that Andrew.
Yeah.
Guy." I'm like, dude, that's sick.
Yeah,
What did you
right.
do? How did you do it? Or what was the whole process? Like I want to learn. I'm always learning. I always want to be better than I am. And I want to like build a community so that like we can all work together.
It might just be like a human nature thing where you think if someone's going to succeed,
Yeah.
it's absolutely zero for you.
Well, and let's not twist it. Like everybody works really hard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
for
like
sure.
if you're working really hard and I'm way more successful as an example, or vice versa, like it's natural for the person
Yeah.
who's working really hard but not successful to be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know, like that makes sense.
Gotta do
um,
gratitude checks.
Yeah. And humble yourself down and realize the situation. I have a problem where I don't know, I was born with this gift, I guess, of just always being right. So it's
It's a great gift
difficult.
to have.
It's difficult to navigate that sometimes, but people around me are getting used to it. Like it's just,
Yeah,
I don't know.
people are finally realizing I'm
Yeah,
always right.
yeah, it's yeah. I don't know. I like to do right by other people. I stand up for what I believe in, and I'm if I'm wrong though, that's the thing is if I am wrong, I am the first person to be like, "Oh my god,
That's
I
good.
was
It's a huge
so
quality to
wrong."
have.
Well, because I'm such a dick when I'm right. That when I'm wrong, I really do have to be like, "Yo, yo, yo, I was
Oops.
totally wrong." Yeah, yeah, and own it right away, which is interesting and doesn't happen often, but it does happen.
At least you admit it if it if
Yeah,
you are
dude,
wrong.
I'm not perfect. I'm just loud. That like people don't
Yeah.
get that. I'm just loud. I'm not crazy. I'm just my volume, you know what I mean, doesn't go down past a certain
Yeah.
amount.
Level.
I whisper and people know exactly what I'm saying because I'm that loud. Um, so the first film of yours that I saw was I'm Glad We Met.
Yeah.
And it's a story, it deals with some touchy subjects or for YouTube, unaliving of yourself.
Does YouTube really do that? I know
Oh
on
yeah.
TikTok.
Oh yeah. Yep. The movie is just over 15 minutes, 17 and
Yeah.
change. It has over 10,000 views now,
Yeah, that was huge. I didn't expect that, but
which
it's
is great.
I'm very glad. I'm glad.
I am not ashamed or upset to admit that I am in love with how do you say his last name? Bobby
Bob Vans?
yeah. Amazing. Amazing actor. Totally sold it to me.
He's great. Yeah, it just has that natural aura to him.
And you have another film coming out. We'll get into the I'm Glad We Met, but you have another film coming out that stars the same two
Yeah,
people.
yeah, it wasn't originally. I was just like, when I was writing the movie, I'm like, well, I could just get the same guys again. They have a good chemistry between them, so
Yeah.
and it works. So
Why not?
why
So
not?
you're
Good relationship.
Scorsese and that's De Niro and Pacino or
Exactly.
whatever.
Yeah.
Right. And I love that. I think that's awesome. You have made a ton of films. Do you want to talk about I'm Glad We Met?
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. So if you haven't seen it yet, please go watch it. I'll link it in the description and tag you and everything else. By the way, tons of reels are going to come out about this episode
I'm
on
so excited.
Instagram.
Oh, I'm gonna
So
share. I'm gonna blast them
you bet.
everywhere.
I hope you do. But yeah. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's an incredible short film, and the thing that I like about it so much is that it is not huge on CGI. It's not huge on trying to be something it's not. It is a story about two guys who meet in the woods.
Yeah, pretty much.
That is, there's nothing wrong if you want to be the next Star Wars, okay? There's nothing wrong with it, but I feel like a lot of indie filmmakers bite off more than they can chew. And this looks like the perfect mouthful. I don't know how to say it the right way. You know what I'm saying? Like this, it's very well written. It's very well acted. The cinematography is on point. It's not overdone. It's very real. And on top of that, when I was like 20,
Mhm.
I bought a second car because I still lived at home and had money at the time. And the
Nice.
second car that I bought was a '79 Lincoln Continental
No
town
kidding.
car.
I've been dreaming about getting a Lincoln Town car. They're like $3,000 on Facebook.
They're like nothing.
But I
And
live in the city. I'm like, I don't need this. I don't drive.
when I tell you it was 22 and a half feet long, 8,500 pounds,
Drive like a boat.
dude, it felt like I was floating.
Yeah,
The whole
it's
time.
so smooth on the
And I
road.
was
It's like rolling on the
so
highway.
pissed when I sold it, but I did sell it. And it was midnight blue and it was beautiful and it was amazing. And
Can you put a picture over the podcast?
100%. 100%. And it was my baby. It had a couple of issues, not like under the hood, and I was not in a position to fix the thing.
See,
And-
Bob fixes it like all himself. He's like, he has like 5 or 6 cars. He does a lot of what's it called? And when you get the old cars on movie sets, he's a picture car. He has a lot of picture
okay.
cars.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so he's a hobbyist. That's why he has that car, and then he has like a '68 Chevy or something like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. So where did you find him? And-
Challengers. You know that movie Challengers?
Yeah, did you work on that? Were you a grip on that or anything? Or?
I was an extra. Me and him were extras.
Oh,
and
no way.
For 3 weeks. Did you see Challengers?
Yes, yeah, I've seen a lot of it, bits and pieces of it.
Do you know-
I've watched. It was on in the background, and I've watched.
That's
I do
fair.
have friends who worked on it that have been on this show.
Oh, yeah.
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 Who were like grips on that, but not somebody who was on it in the background. Were you in the bleachers?
Yeah, I was in the I'm in the poster too. If you like zoom in on
you
Zendaya's right
serious?
sunglass, I'm like kind of like painted in the background
That's
with my Ray-Bans and my like salmon pink shirt.
That's funny.
But yeah, we were filming that for like
They
3
put
weeks.
no offense, very handsome man. They put a redhead in a salmon pink shirt.
No, I bought the salmon pink shirt. They said show up in country club clothes. I didn't have any. I didn't have any polos or anything, so I went to Target. It was like an $11 shirt.
There
And the
you go.
thing is, I thought they kept extending the set.
Mm.
So it was supposed to be a week, then went up to 3 weeks. So I had to wear the same shirt every single day in like 90-degree heat. It's like it's stained with sunscreen on it, still on the collar, but I still have the shirt. It's a very comfy shirt.
You should sign the shirt and put it in a frame.
Give it to Planet Hollywood.
Whatever, whoever wants to take it. Yeah, no, that's fun. If you can make money with the shirt. If it was an $11 shirt and they're going to give you money for it.
I got this shirt was in Challengers.
Yeah, exactly. Featured in Challengers, the movie.
But they
That's great.
positioned me and him
Yeah.
like next to each other. Because they rotate a lot of extras throughout the set. They just kept to like fill up different shots.
Yeah.
And so they put me and him next to each other for a while. And then we just got to talking. Just like back and forth, a little polite conversation in the beginning. And then we kept sitting next to each other. We kept talking. And he was telling me all the stories of, living in Boston and stuff. And just talking about his life. I was talking about my life. And I was like, this guy is cool. I like his, like the cut of his jib.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my God. Don't Sopranos me right now, dude. I will go crazy. This will be a 17-hour podcast.
I was watching Sopranos. It's my favorite show.
It's my favorite show.
I rewatch it all the time.
It's the best. And you know what I love doing is rewatching it with someone who hasn't seen it yet.
I know.
And then watching their face.
I'm watching my roommates. They're like, "Stop looking at me, dude."
Yeah, I know. You're like, I can't help it. I need you to like get on board with this.
I need you to react more to this scene that I love.
Yeah, no, I love it. It's very well written. Okay, so you meet Bobby. What about Nolan? How do you know Nolan?
Nolan is from my hometown, actually.
Okay,
and I knew he was getting into acting. He's always been kind of involved in theater. He's in a band now.
Mm-hmm.
So he's always done like kind of a lot of different pieces of performing arts, acting, theater, singing, and all that. And originally, I had a different actor for I'm Glad We Met.
Okay.
Who I also met on Challenge.
For the younger person.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he actually, both of them, Bob and the other guy, came to my house. They rehearsed it, and we kept planning shooting dates. And we're going to shoot on weekends because we all had different things to do.
Mm-hmm.
But the guy kept, backing out because he had different things to. I think he had reasons to back out. I wasn't upset, but over time, I'm like, we got to get this movie done before like the fall sets in. So
sure.
And then eventually the winter did set in. We shot in the winter, but he just couldn't make a lot of dates.
You shot I'm Glad We Met in the winter?
Yeah. Well, over time, it's kind of a long story. We shot over a long time.
Okay.
It was just me and the actors. There's no other. There's a few people helped me on set, but it wasn't an actual crew.
I love that.
Yeah. So, but this other guy, he couldn't make it, and he was cool. I was like, all right, do you mind if I find just a different actor so we could shoot? He's like, yeah, absolutely. So I called Nolan. I'm like, hey, I know you're getting into acting. Do you want to read the script and see if you want to do it? And he said, sure. And he read it. He's like, yeah, I'll do it. He just drove right up to my house and we started shooting it. I think he read it. I think he read the script the night before and then just got right into it.
That's so cool. That's really, it's really cool when you are able to find somebody, like there are a lot of actors out there who want work and they'll do anything and blah, 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 all that stuff. But it's cool when you have somebody who's like legitimately on board with, yeah, you want to make something? Let's make something.
Yeah. No, he's down to shoot, which was awesome.
He's in your new film, Mulva
Mm-hmm.
which is not out yet.
Not yet. A few more months.
Right. I have seen a rough cut of it, and I don't want to get too deep into that yet because I don't want to give anything away. But it is very good.
Thank you.
It is very good. I like it. I approve. Not that you need my approval, but I do.
It means a lot that you approve.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm not. I really like that you say that you have a very limited crew and everything else. I feel like there's this discrepancy among people. And I'm not trying to be overtly controversial here, but I feel like I've just heard a lot of, well, when you get on a real film set.
Exactly, yeah.
And I just don't buy into any of that BS at all. Like,
I mean, yeah, Mulva Hill was my first movie with an actual crew.
Okay, what do you mean an actual crew?
And by an actual crew, I
see what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. I keep saying
and it's not like your fault. I'm saying like that's the subconscious of everybody in the film industry. It's not real till it's real. Well, what the hell makes it real? What are you talking about?
So every movie, everything I've done up until Mulva Hill, it was just me, my tripod, my camera, and the actors. And maybe I'll get a friend to come help me on set. Like, hey, can you actually just lift this little light over this actor's head or something like that?
Sure.
Mulva Hill was the first one where I had a dedicated gaffer, a sound person. I never had a sound person. I always had a shotgun mic, or I do ADR. I get the mic right to the actor's face in a we'd film the actor saying the line, and then I'd take the audio from that clip and overlay it over the actual piece
Oh
we
my
shot.
god.
Because I never
I love this shit, man. Keep going.
because I'd worked on film sets and I'd be shooting with friends, so I'd be like, well, I know my friends don't want to shoot for 14 hours. I can't, wait around for all this stuff. So I'm just going to do everything really quickly and then go back to their house, get audio if I have to, and then just kind of throw it
Yeah.
in. So I'm glad we met because I didn't have dedicated crew positions for the most part. We shot the movie twice, essentially, because we started in October, I think, or September, and we shot some scenes, and then they came back, shot some scenes, and they shot some scenes, and then I'd be editing, and I'm like, this looks terrible. The sun is just blasting the camera. You can't see him; it's too bright. The audio is bad. There's a construction crew in the background, so I'd be like, hey, can you guys come down, reshoot this scene so we can get better lighting, better audio, and then just over the course of a couple months, we ended up reshooting every scene until I had a completely different movie.
Okay, so my next question to you, because again, I'm talking about generally speaking, there like especially among film students that go to film school. And this is not I'm not talking bad about anybody, okay? But I'm just trying to prove a point here to the viewers who watch this. The 3 people who watch. I'm just kidding. Um
I saw more views. I saw more views on the channel.
oh yeah, no, there's some. There's some that hit, especially when I go crazy. When I start like screaming and yelling about stuff, those videos
The
do
rants,
very
people love rants.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, when I don't have a guest, I tend to go moderately political on some things because when I don't have a guest, I talk about my life and my
Yeah,
general
it's your show.
whatever, you know what I mean? But yeah, but this is the goal. You know what I mean? I want to talk to filmmakers all the time. There's just not always one available and I have to post every Monday. So
Fair. Okay, that makes sense.
so it's like, what are you talking about? Well, what's big in the news? Let's talk about that stuff. Very opinionated person. I am.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we're not getting into politics. Don't worry. What I was going to ask you is where everybody's always concerned about budget. I have seen in the past, I would say probably 6-8 months, more Indiegogos and more GoFundMe's and more things popping up for people that have not a lot of films under their belt. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And for me and for you, apparently, with the Hulk movies and everything else, like I have no problem being there on a set making no money. I like making movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I
The fun
wanted to
of
make money, I've said this before. I said it, I think on the episode with Charlie Norton. You can be a lawyer. You can go be a brain surgeon if you want to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
For me, I would have starred in I'm Glad We Met, if that makes sense, if I'm not allowed to make movies. Does that make sense? I would have
Mm.
been the actual character in real life if I was
Oh, I
not
see what you're
allowed
saying.
to make movies. I'm trying to
Yes,
be
I
YouTube
see what
friendly
you're
here.
saying. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
So, like, it is the way that I express myself. It is the way that I get my messages out to the world through whether even if I'm editing someone else's project, like I try and make the edit my edit, not to take over or take anything away from a director or anything like that.
Mhm.
But I want to have my mark on it. Okay, this is how
Yeah.
Nick likes to edit things and
Collaborative process for sure.
100%. And so, like, it is an art form. I have said this before. I'll say it again. I don't say when filmmaking was invented. I say when it was discovered.
Yeah, I like that.
Because it's an art form. And there is nothing else like it. There is nothing else like filmmaking. Whether it's on film or digital or CG, the idea of watching a picture move and talk is its own thing. It's its own thing. There's nothing else. And I don't think when people do these like 360 things, or if they're trying to do a movie that like, I don't know, that like they're trying to mess with everything. I like traditional, just put it on a screen and watch it.
Yeah, I
It
think
doesn't matter if it's at home or in a theater. That's a thing that people are pissed about right now.
the streaming wars.
Right, but like just tell the story,
Yeah.
you know? So I really am impressed with everything you've done, but what I want to talk to you about is budget. How do you get people to first of all, you've made a ton of films. You make stuff all the time. I feel like you're constantly doing stuff. Whether you're on someone else's set or your own, you're constantly doing stuff.
Yeah, try to. I mean, up until
Well, your Facebook would say you're constantly doing
yeah,
stuff.
pretty much. I'm always trying to post something and trying to do stuff.
Right. What's your take on the people not making stuff unless they raise funds for it? Is where I'm going with this.
I up until Mulva Hill, I just shot by myself with friends. So, You know,
Right, but how do you get people as an example? I'm not putting you on the
yeah,
spot
yeah.
here. I'm saying, I'm looking at it from the perspective of a kid who just spent 400 grand on film school, who is now thinking that they can't make a movie unless they raise $25,000 on Indiegogo or whatever it is. How do you get people to shoot in October and then you just call them and say come back and just keep shooting and they'll do it? Like how does that work? How do you
That was just very generous of them. I'm glad that they did that because they did not have to, but I had to be like, the movie's gonna be so much better. It's gonna look so great if you just do this. And they would come down. And then usually it was just me on the set, so I don't have to get a bunch of different positions down. Luckily with Mobile Hill, we didn't have too many reshoots. I think we had to tack on extra days.
Mhm.
But yeah, since a lot of the crew was
Did you raise money for Mobile Hill?
I just paid for it myself. I didn't, a lot of the crew volunteered.
Call
And
him for money. Don't call me for money
yeah.
anymore. No, go ahead.
So I was really the money was just for rentals and food and stuff. A lot of people
Right, but
volunteer in
there's
the
like
movie.
certain props and things that are in Mobile Hill that are
That's a lot of props. I did buy the props. Some props, I had just acquired over the years.
I'm
Um,
not talking about plastic bags. I'm talking about what's in them. Like there's
yeah,
some
Etsy.
stuff. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so cool to me, dude.
I
Like
was
seriously.
if people looked at my search history, they'd be like, "What are you looking at, dude? It's just bad."
Yeah, I feel like that's true with a lot of filmmakers in general because you want to tell a story about crazy stuff happening. You got to look up crazy stuff to
Yeah,
put in.
exactly.
Yeah,
And that's I found like weird, just like Etsy. Like I can't believe I found on Etsy. I don't want to give away the props, but the props that I found, I'm like, this you can just sell that on
yeah.
Etsy.
You got to watch the movie when it comes out. It's a very cool story. So how big was the crew on Mobile Hill?
It was pretty small. What's the exact numbers?
No, it doesn't matter exact. I'm saying like, did you have a dedicated
Yeah,
sound
sound
person? Did you have a
guy,
grip?
sound. I mean, some people. So since it was a volunteer basis, I would try to shoot on the weekends.
Okay, so it was volunteer crew.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
cool. I like that.
volunteer. And if some people would have to bet if people had an actual job
Yeah.
lined up, they get to go do that, obviously, and then we
Sure.
just try and fill it up and figure it
That's
out
great.
together. But yeah, I would just try to shoot on weekends because
What do you do? How do you support yourself throughout your?
I work for a health company, just doing like video editing stuff and producing different programs.
Okay, so you're still in media.
Yeah, I'm still in media. It's not like narrative filmmaking, but it's still
No, you do. Yeah.
yeah. It's
Hello. Yeah.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I get
exactly.
it. Yeah. No,
It's
that's fine.
but I like that job. After college, I was doing a lot of the different freelance stuff, but
Mhm.
I found I like this position a lot more, and I like doing my own, uh, projects like this on the side. Find a lot more enjoyment out of that too.
Sure. Are you a big festival guy? Like what are your goals long term? I love that you release this stuff on YouTube. I think more filmmakers should be releasing their
Oh yeah,
films on YouTube. There's no better way to get it out in front of an audience, you
yeah,
know?
exactly.
Especially with a lot of festivals that are like you are not allowed to show,
That's the thing. A
you
lot of
have to
people were
premiere it
like,
here. Yeah.
with I'm glad we met. People were like, you shouldn't put it on YouTube if you're gonna try to do the festival route. So I submitted to some festivals, but I didn't. It's not that I don't care about festivals, but
I don't. Go
I
ahead.
kind of
I
like
don't give a shit.
I
I'll tell
post
you.
them on YouTube and I just like to spam them everywhere. I'll post them on Reddit, Facebook, different websites, and if some people take it, and builds up its own views, like it has 10,000 views now. That's just from
You spamming it.
spamming it everywhere. I know Bob has shared it a few times. A lot of people have shared it. I mean, when it came out on YouTube, there was an organization on the Cape, like a suicide prevention thing that they found on YouTube and used it in their training protocol, I think.
That's awesome.
So I don't think I could have done that if it was in festivals.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is like I feel like festivals used to be this gateway to I don't want to say Hollywood specifically, but to it would get in front of if you got into a festival, it would get in front of people that had larger budgets for you to make a larger film or a larger style of
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
And I feel like they're just
That's when you didn't have anything to really show it to. I mean,
right. You had no other way to get your
you
film
could do
out there.
local access TV, but that's going to catch like a town, maybe.
Maybe. And now it's like you can put it on YouTube or any of these other, streaming platforms and you have the potential, through spamming the link to everybody and everything else, you have the potential to get it in front of millions of people.
Exactly.
So they're just people who kind of downplay that. And I think that it's weird. We're in such a weird time for indie filmmakers right now because you have the people from like that were making films pre technological boom
Yeah.
who are very festival oriented. We're like, this is the only way to do
You
it.
have to do it.
And if you don't have 17 grips on set and a dedicated sound mixer and everything else, it's not a real movie. And then you have the people that are younger. I like to try and include myself in that, but as the years go on, I don't have much of a choice. But like yourself, who were like, no, I want to make a movie and it requires 2 actors and
A camera.
I will figure it out. And that is why I wanted to have you on the show, because my whole mentality toward life is the only thing I need to know is how to figure it out. Like having that as a skill in and of itself, no matter what situation you're in,
I mean, YouTube is
you'll be fine.
limitless, different resources for like, I will be editing or I'll be on set and I'll just run into a small problem. And I'll just go on YouTube, and be like, how do you do this?
Yeah.
And then it just comes up in it's just like a minute video. It's like, oh, you just do that. And I'm like, oh, simple.
I'm not going to name names because I don't want to create any bad blood or anything. I was on a set. I was literally just helping out, like as a PA, and it was called in as a favor to a friend who needed an extra body on set. And I'm like, I like being on set. Like, why not? I'll help out. I go down and they shut the whole. They were shooting in a bar. They shut the whole production down because they couldn't figure out how to get suds in fake beer to make it look like beer. Do you know what I'm saying? Like they couldn't get
shut
a head.
it down.
They didn't shut it down like dramatically, but like everything
Paused
stopped.
everything.
Everything stopped. They stopped rolling camera. They were freaking out because the bubbles in the cream soda they were using were going away too quickly and it didn't look like beer. And I'm like,
Just use non-alcoholic beer.
well, that's one. Or two, I said,
Alka-Seltzer.
is the person actually drinking it? Now I'm a PA. Like totally, this is totally not
You
my
can't be
place.
talking.
Right. But I was like, hey, there's a producer running around trying to figure something out, like losing their shit on what to do over beer foam.
Interesting.
Oh, dude, this is what I'm saying. This shit happens all the time.
Yeah.
I go, hi, how you doing? The extra in the background who's drinking the beer. Are they actually drinking the beer? Like, are they going to ingest any of it? And they were like, no. And I go, take a thing of dish soap, put it in the bottom, and swirl it around. Those bubbles don't disappear right away. Oh, within 5 minutes, we're back up. I'm not Christ. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not a friggin' genius. It's just like, slow down, breathe. There's a solution. And by the way, there could be way worse things to freak out about and shut a set down over, especially an indie set.
Yeah.
So why are we freaking out about that? Like, really? It's a little dramatic,
you know? Block the beer somehow.
Right. Or like, don't show it. Exactly. Like, that shuts down the set? Like, that drives me nuts.
Maybe the character's drinking water.
Drives me nuts. And so because of that, I end up being a kind of a go-to for a lot of people. Like if it's one of my productions, I'm just fielding
Your problem
questions
solver.
Constantly.
Every set needs a problem solver.
But like, it gets to be a lot. I just want to make movies, man. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Like, why do there have to be problems? Can't we just roll camera?
That's what you're saying. If people want to make money, they can go be brain surgeon. You can do it on the weekends too. That's what I always try to find in all my sets. I always just try to film on the weekends for fun.
Well, yeah. Well, Chris Nolan made his first film for like $6,000. He shot it over the course of a year
over on weekends, right? I still haven't
by
seen
himself. Yeah, I haven't either. But apparently he's doing well.
I'm sure it's good.
I would say he's doing all right.
He's not bad.
Yeah,
I think he's going to make a name for himself one day.
Yeah, maybe. I think, if he like pulls his stuff together.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. So I'm glad we met. It's a story about a younger gentleman and an older gentleman who are both looking to end their lives.
Yes.
And they end up going to the same patch of the woods in order to do this and kind of stumble upon each other. And it's just a real. Where did you come up with this concept? And
yeah, I mean, it's a lot of people view and I don't want to say I didn't make the movies like a PSA per se.
Sure.
Like
I can see how people would think that.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, "Oh, that's so good you did that." I was like, "Well, I want to make like I think I don't remember exactly where it came from. I think the seed of the idea is I think I wanted 2 people just happening to be somewhere at the same time that drastically changed the outcome of both of their lives.
Sure.
And I don't know how it came to that, but the idea that they're right near each other, about to do this terrible, terrible thing to themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and then just because a twig snapped or something, it stopped him, made him investigate, and then kind of go look and see what's going on, and then they end up having a conversation, which changes the trajectory of their lives.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's great. So, wasn't meant to be a PSA. Why
I'm glad it
deal
helps people, but
Well,
of course.
sure. But I think that's the kind of like the thing, right? Is like that's something that only films can do.
Yeah, exactly.
Like even though it was like your intention was just to make a story about something like drastic happening and then something very small causing this ripple effect that,
Yeah,
changes the course of whatever the initial story was supposed to be.
exactly.
But there's nothing wrong with it being a PSA about,
No, not at
not
all. I mean, I
not ending your own life,
like you said, the festival thing. I'm happy with it on YouTube because I'll get comments on it. Like a few months ago, someone commented like, "From Detroit here, really enjoyed this movie, really helped me. Thank you for posting." I'm like, "Oh, that's pretty awesome. I'm glad that happens."
Yeah,
And
that's pretty sick, dude.
yeah, it makes me feel good when I read those comments.
Even if it's not real.
Yeah,
Like,
even if
even if that was like some
yeah, my
Russian bot or
yeah,
something, like, thanks.
I'm
Like,
all
that's
for
a nice thing to
someone made a
say.
fake account to make me feel better. Well, I'm happy.
100%. Right. Yeah, somebody made a fake account to make you feel better. That's funny. No, I like that though. It is cool, and maybe it will help some people or not. It's interesting that that wasn't the intention, and yet it still is at one of the many outcomes of it, besides the view count and everything else that people are
That
like, yeah.
and also on YouTube, posts people are posting fan theories. Not people. One person posted a fan theory, but a few weeks ago, it's kind of a spoiler for the movie, but someone commented they thought that the younger character was a ghost trying to stop the old man. They
Interesting.
thought that the young man already went through it, and he was trying to stop the old man from doing the same thing.
People are nuts, huh? They go and like off. I mean, I love it, but like,
I mean, I play along with it. I'm like, maybe dot
yeah,
dot dot.
yeah, that's great. I love that. Where did you shoot it?
Situate and Cohasset. So for the first part of the movie, it's in Cohasset at we call it the Res. It's something Reservoir. No, that's not it. But then we shot the second part where they're on the dock.
Mhm.
At the end of the movie, that's AJ Park in Situate. I think
Okay.
AJ McGregor Park.
Yeah, no, it looks great. I thought it was all in the same spot. It kind of gives like Plum Island vibes or
Yeah, and I was trying to
know.
film it in the end of summer, beginning of fall, so I could have all those beautiful changing leaves, a lot better sunlight. We ended up shooting in December, I think, which I thought made it look way better, way more blue and grim, kind of at the end.
Yeah, definitely I mean, it's not like a happy subject
No,
matter
not at
at
all.
all. It's definitely a touchy storyline. It's very interesting. I don't know. I just think it's really good because it doesn't come off as cheesy. It doesn't feel like you're trying to do
That was a big
something.
worry of mine.
No, it was very genuine. I freaked. I watched it and I was like, "Holy crap, this is really good." Like and I'm not just, if I thought it was crap, believe me, and people who know me know, like I would have said like, "Yeah, great. This fucking idiot."
This movie sucked.
Yeah, I would have. I would have because
So I appreciate you.
but a lot of people try and like bite off more than they can chew, or they'll chew, and they'll try and make a PSA
Yeah,
that's overly dramatic.
a little
That's
too melodramatic.
right,
Yeah,
like too much, and then you start dealing with serious subject matter, I'm glad we met, and sometimes the actors are way over the top with it. That's just like that's not really how people in that situation would act.
yeah,
It's not going to resonate with anybody. This is like real. This is why I love this guy. Bobby's great.
yeah. He's just very He's a naturalist actor.
Totally like just just a guy.
Yeah.
He's just like, this is where I'm at with it. And I love his New Balance shoes.
The white New Balances.
The New Balances are great because my grandfather wears those. And I think there's
I might buy a pair soon. They're extremely. I have a pair of New
very
Balances at home.
comfortable things.
They're ugly as sin, but they are very comfortable. Not saying Bob's were, but I have a pair that are pretty awful looking.
No,
But
Bob's were ugly too. Bob, you had ugly shoes. I appreciated it. It went with the character, but they were ugly shoes. Let's change your shoes. I'd love to have him on. I would love
He
to
would
have
love to
more.
come on.
I would love to have more actors on.
They give they give a different perspective too.
They do. They do. I'd love to have some actors on that I'm hot and cold on actors. Right
That's
now.
fair.
Like there are some actors who I'm like, all right, go ahead, do your thing. And there's some actors where I'm just like, let's talk about some shit.
Yeah.
What are you doing? But I get it. It's such a different perspective to be behind the camera as opposed to in front of the camera.
It's more and less. It's more pressure and it's less pressure. It's like
For both in different ways.
Yeah, exactly. The actor's like everyone's going to be looking at me, but also I don't have to. Once my lines are over, I can go home.
Sure.
I don't have to adjust lighting or anything, editing.
Sure.
But then you also have to memorize the lines. Like I've done some acting stuff, and in front of the camera, I'm like, Okay, all right.
Yeah, that's
Deep
why I
breaths, deep
hate
breaths.
this. That's why I hate this. I'm happy with this
I don't even
episode.
feel the cameras here though. This is nice.
That's
It's
why I have it set
this
up
is
the way
this
that
is
I
a
have it
nice-
set up.
Yeah, it's dark. Can't see anything.
Everybody says the same thing. I have the lights, and then I have everything is pushed back with tighter lenses so that I can do my push-ins and everything else, but I don't feel like they're there. I feel like we're talking, and
think
this
it's
is
like
just
theater?
obstructing.
You think this is like how theater actors feel? Because all the lights are on them,
Yeah,
but they
I
can't
mean,
really see the people in the audience?
I've never understood why people don't like doing like I know actors who are like against not against in like an aggressive way, but they themselves are not a fan of doing theater performances.
Really? I thought that's like where the best actors come from.
Well, I agree. This is what I'm saying.
That's just what I was told.
I've done some theater acting. I've been in some plays and stuff, and you don't even know. You feel like you're alone up there.
Yeah.
Like and so it's like you can kind of do whatever you want, and then you just randomly like if I don't know, I'm moderately comedic, I guess, with the way that I portray myself, but you're up there, and it's like one of the four walls, right? Because there's like that fourth wall is the audience.
Yes.
Where it's just black. You just hear this like chuckle or like a laughter like coming out of nowhere, you know? And you're
cough.
like, oh, that's funny. Yeah, exactly.
Phone.
Hopefully you don't hear a cough and like dead silence. That's like, that's gotta be bad.
The worst feeling.
But I don't know. Yeah, I think theater's great. And if you think about it, that's kind of where movies started because everything was staged before movies. And then the first movies that were made were those three walls and the audience was just replaced by a camera, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like in old Hollywood.
It's I was watching that movie a few weeks ago. What's that movie called? Babylon?
Have you seen it? I haven't seen it.
I watched it.
I've been told, I've been yelled at because I haven't seen it. And people are like, you need to watch it, Nick. You'd love it. You know?
Yeah, I watched it. It was I liked it. I didn't love it too much.
Sure.
But I thought it was interesting to see that old Hollywood style. Because I love Damien Chazelle. I love La La Land. I loved Whiplash. This one, it was good, but they show in how they shot in the desert. They put all the miniature sets, the three walls, and they put the actors in, and they have the rolling camera. So it was cool to see how they did it. Because they would shoot, like 10, 15 movies at a time just in the desert on different sets, all three walls, and then the camera on each one.
So this is my point, and I think that we as a culture of filmmakers need to or should get back to that because even though we have technology and we have like some cool ways of doing CG stuff and all this other stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with those movies. They still hold up today.
Simplicity is key.
Right. But it also lowers the barrier of entry because the more that we have technology and the more that we have like CG and we have these, well, you need to have this type of light. You need to have this type of sound person. You need to have this type. Okay. Well, you're just limiting yourself for people that can't afford that stuff. But if you have like, especially in this area in New England, if you have a big backyard, there are a lot of people that have like barns that are just used for storage, you know, or whatever.
Or the woods.
Or the woods or whatever it is. But if you have a flat patch of land and you can afford a couple $100 worth of like plywood, you can make any set that you can think of. It's three walls.
It would be cool. I mean,
I do it all the time. I did it in my last studio. I have, and there's a post on my Instagram where it shows I built a set in 3 days that looked like a jail.
I think I went to that set the first day of my internship.
I don't think you were on that set. That was in Topsfield.
Yeah,
you went on that set.
That was a grip on Charlie Norton, one of Charlie Norton's movies.
Okay, I'm talking about a different film, but you were there. You definitely saw that set, but it wasn't the set that I'm talking about. It was set up like a bedroom.
Okay. Never mind.
Yeah. Same studio.
Wait a minute, no, bedroom? Didn't have light? Didn't have cool lighting effects all over it?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
But it was like a crappy room with like a wall that was made out of plywood that we like created into like be this thing.
Yeah, that was like my first day of the internship. I'm like, oh, filmmaking, movie magic, and just because I wasn't used to it.
Like film is it's not real.
Yeah.
It's not real. Like this idea that everything has to be this extremely high budget or whatever. It's like such fucking, it's so dumb, dude.
I'm trying to think. Well, Reservoir Dogs is all in one building for the most part.
Everything is all done in one building. And then there's like a shot of them in a car and a shot of a guy running down the street. That's the extent of Reservoir Dogs. I don't know why people think it's so incredible. You know what I'm saying? Like the movie's good, don't get me wrong. But I'm saying like it's not like it's not something that couldn't be done. The genius of Reservoir Dogs is the writing. Like, let's be honest
it's
here.
Dialogue. It's back and forth.
That's what it is. That's what makes it so good. It's a robbery movie where the only thing you don't see is the robbery. That's the genius of Reservoir Dogs.
I think it's I think what's the saying I heard, it was just like you can make a bad movie with a good script, but you can't make a good movie with a bad script.
Right.
So
Right.
really comes down to just the typing and just the small elements of the movie.
Right. So
Not that the writing's small.
You wrote the well, both of these films, right? But you wrote I'm Glad We Met?
Yeah.
So what was that process like, and when did you know it was good? How many drafts did you go through and that
I
kind of
think
stuff?
I went through like 4 drafts. I sent it around to some people. Some people would read it and they're like, "It's good." I'm like, "All right, good feedback." I think I would post it on sometimes I'd post it on the screenwriting subreddit on Reddit too. They would just get I posted back in the day, I used to post scripts there and get feedback, and just people would give you pointers on what
That's
you could
nice.
do better.
Do you
So it's
get
like
negative? How do you feel about negative feedback when you
I
get
get it all the time. But
Right. But you're then so because of the negative feedback, you're gonna quit filmmaking and never make anything ever again?
no,
Or-
I usually just take the advice.
yeah.
I mean, Mulvihill, the first cut of the edit was just too long. Everybody told me like, "Dude, it's slow." I'm like,
Which one did I watch? The second cut?
"You watched the latest cut, 4.0." I went through a lot of cuts.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm listening. Yeah. Okay. How long was the first one? Because the cut you sent me is like
Pretty long, yeah.
it's lengthy.
Yeah. I think the first cut was like 28, 29 minutes.
Wow. Okay.
So we cut out maybe like not even cut scenes, just fat in between different takes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But where we go, we're talking about the script from Glad We Met.
Yeah, sure. Anything. I don't know.
Yeah, just keep
chatting.
going. Yeah, just we're having a
If you
conversation.
can't follow this, go away. You know what I mean? Just continue. I've wanted this conversation for months. I've been hitting you up.
I think what originally happened, I was working with Bob, and at the end of challenges, I'm like, I want to work for this guy. I think he's probably gonna have a great screen
I feel
presence.
like I would have said the same thing if I met him. Like he's so genuine.
Yeah. So originally, I was trying to write comedy. I was writing a lot of comedy sketches at the time too.
Mm.
So I'm like, he'd be funny. I bet I would get
Comedy's tough.
It is, but it's if you're having fun with the actors and you're having fun with the crew,
Yeah.
it kind of shines through. I feel like,
Sure.
but with Bob,
Yeah, but you gotta admit, there's a lot of crappy comedy out there.
yes,
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
like not funny stuff out there
Yeah.
all over the place.
yeah, I'm guilty of it. I would make a lot of sketches back in the day, but
Go ahead, finish your thought because I have a thought on that. But go ahead, I don't want to interrupt you.
I was trying to make. Originally, I hit up Bob, and I was writing this comedy sketch. I don't even remember what it was. I'm like, "You want to be the lead actor in this?" I didn't tell him what the project was. He's like, "Lead? Absolutely, I'd love to do it." And then somehow I got the idea from Glad We Met. I started writing that, and then a few weeks go by. I'm like, "Here's the script. Just complete drama, completely different idea." And I think he was I don't think he had done any leading roles, I don't know if he had any speaking parts. He's usually doing a lot of background work.
That's like shocking to hear because he's so good in the film that I'm like, really? Like he had never done anything before? That's cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think he was a little hesitant at first because it is heavy material. Would be his first lead role, but we got him somehow, and I'm glad we did.
That's great. Yeah, no, he's very good. And I don't want to like make it all about Bob too. Nolan's very good as well.
Yeah, they're both excellent.
Yeah.
And the chemistry between them really. 'Cause I
that's,
don't know how it would roll with other actors.
that's the thing. Yeah, not that anybody else is bad or good or whatever,
No.
but like no, they did a very
You'd be
good job.
two great actors, but if the chemistry's off, it could feel weird.
Right. Yeah. What I was going to say about comedy in general, I feel like there is, I don't know, I'm an honest person, and I feel like that is a detriment to myself.
No, I don't think so.
Well, I know, but like I have one mode, and that's like I'm going to tell you like it is. Like if I'm telling you right now, if I'm Glad We Met was crap, I would be like, it's not good.
I think
it's not good.
I think people get upset by it, but I think they respect it.
It never feels good to hear that something that you put a lot of work into is not good.
What's like that Hollywood stereotype that everyone's like, "Oh, it's great. Oh, I love it." Love behind the scenes. People are like, "Nah, it sucks." I would hate that. I would hate that to happen
can't
to me.
stand it. I have no problem admitting that like I don't want to say I talk shit about people, but there's nothing that comes out of my mouth to any person about anyone else that I wouldn't say to that person's face.
Which I think is a great quality.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and people know that. Like, if you fuck up, I'm gonna be like, Andrew, you fucked up. And then if I'm talking to Evan Schneider, who you interned for, about you, and and you know where I stand with the situation, I'll say to Evan, I'll be like, yeah, he fucked up. It was not good. You know, like whatever. It is what it is. But I'm not gonna be like, I hate redheads now, and like he's just a horrible human. Like I don't go like it's not that. It's just about the thing that it is.
Yeah.
But I have no problem like telling people like it is. And that is going to get me in trouble at some point. I'm sure I might get shot over it or something. I don't know.
Maybe, but
But
I mean,
it is.
honesty is key. Honesty is key.
Well, and I don't just. It's not like I'm never the type of person where I'll be like, oh, this is bad, and then leave. Like I'll be like,
I was going to say, are you trying to help people in your honesty? Or you're trying to tell them what they did wrong?
Well,
Like,
yeah.
you're not just trying to insult them and walk away.
It's not
Yeah.
about being insulting. It's like, well, I'm very big on if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. But you can't get to the solution if you don't identify the problem.
It's constructive criticism.
And I do my damnedest to
Loophole.
be as constructive as possible because otherwise you're just being a dick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
you're just saying something's bad and you walk away. If you don't say like, hey, listen, let's talk about this one thing, the length of this cut at 30 minutes, whatever, it's chubby. It's
fat.
really fatty.
It's boring.
You know, if this movie was a person, it could star on my 600-pound life. You know what I'm saying? Let's go on a diet. And the problem is, I feel like, and I want to know how you feel about this too, because you work on very small crews, right? Recently, anyway.
Yeah.
A lot of people, especially people that are behind the camera. This is why, by the way, this is why if you're watching this and you're a cinematographer who has worked with me before, this is why I don't like when cinematographers are also the editor. I like when directors are editors. It's not a personal thing, but there is definitely a psychological phenomenon that happens because cinematographers put so much work into setting up the shots.
Yeah.
That if they are then also the editor, they want to use as many of the different shots as they set up.
That's what happened to me, though. I was the.
You see what I'm saying?
I was the director, and I put every single shot in, every, cutaway, everything.
Yeah.
That was the problem with the first cut. It just had everything that didn't need. Someone gave me good advice. Just cut as much as you can and see.
Cut it till it almost doesn't make sense.
Yeah, if you cut one line and that messes up the story, then that's when you stop. Essentially, just get everything out of it that doesn't get you from A to B as quick as possible.
Right.
So that's why I wanted to talk about me being the editor. I think that was I've edited everything I've ever made, but I think if I make another short film, I'd like to get an actual dedicated editor who's willing to, maybe.
We'll talk.
Someone
after this
will just chop the hell out of it because every time I was cutting a scene, I'm like, I like that shot though, which is very hard for a lot of directors, cinematographers too.
Yeah. On a I don't know if I want to include that. I'm just trying to think of, because I don't want to get anybody. There was a large film. That's where I'm going to go with this. Because I want to tell this story, but I can't say what that part of it. So we have to act like it's something else.
Sure.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So I know of a very large production that was shot locally, where there was stuff brought in, camera cranes and like very large equipment that was all set up. Oh, I can talk about it because no, I can't. Okay, sorry. I thought about it like 3 times, and I was like, no, I can't. But camera cranes and same director as. I will cut that part out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah.
There was a okay. There was a large budget film, Hollywood film production that was shot locally very recently that brought in a lot of equipment that was like very large scale, camera cranes, cherry pickers, like very large shot things that require their own crew and rental things. Like if you bring in one of those telescopic jibs that are like 75 feet, like they need 3 or 4 people that know how to use that equipment. Like you can't just be a random, I make movies on the weekends and now I'm gonna run this telescopic
$400,000
ridiculous thing, right? So then they bring it on set and they shoot the whole thing and then it doesn't end up in the film. And and like to an indie filmmaker where every dollar and every moment, and you can only shoot on Saturdays and Sundays afternoon and stuff like that, that becomes extremely important. And then when you bring that to the edit, people like we gotta use that. We spent so much time on those shots.
Exactly. Yeah.
That doesn't make your film better.
That was the hardest part for me to learn. It's just
and that's the truth. It doesn't make your film better. It makes you're showing off the time that you spent making the film, and that's not the point of filmmaking.
Yeah.
It's to tell a good story. What tells the best story?
I was very fortunate that
You
I had a
know?
lot of people on the set. A lot of the crew members I would send the cuts to, and they would just be they would give me a page of notes, be like, "It's too long. You need to cut this. You need to cut this. You need to cut this."
Mhm.
I showed it to my brother, the Hulk movie brother. Also, shout out to him, Joe Connelly Animations on YouTube. He's got a big animation channel. So I just wanted to
Really?
give him a shout out. Yeah, yeah, he makes a lot of
Oh,
Godzilla
yeah.
cartoons, King Kong cartoons.
That's
He's
sick.
got a good
Animation's
following.
very difficult.
It's
You know what
very
I
yeah.
mean?
I've seen him do it frame by frame by frame.
Oh, he really does hand animation of everything?
Uh,
Or
not
has
like he has like the panel, so you can keep some of the same characteristics of the background, but he has to
but he still has to animate them.
but the character moving, he has to do frame by frame, the arm moving,
Insane.
the tail moving, stuff
Insane.
like that. So,
Well,
but I got him to watch my movie over Christmas break. He lives in
Yeah.
Texas, so he's back. He was just took an axe to it. He took a chainsaw. I was like, you need to get rid of that. You need to get that. That music doesn't fit with that scene. You got to change this. You got to change this. You got to change this. And I was like, but I need that scene of that car driving all the way down the alley. It was just things that I thought visually looked cool, but really, if you're in the audience, you don't know me. You don't know what's going on. It's just
Yeah.
like, all right, this is boring. What are we doing here?
Yeah, I feel like negative feedback is like essential.
It's huge.
essential because it's the cool thing about the film industry is that we all want to be Spielberg, right?
Yes.
In our own heads. Like we know, everybody knows,
Yeah.
right?
I
About your
wish.
film. You pour your heart and soul into something, but I know better than you.
I'm trying to be a Clint Eastwood director.
You know what I'm saying? So the point though is that the benefit there is because everybody knows, everybody has an opinion. So what you have to do is you ask like 10 people, and the stuff that you get back, there's going to be anomalies that each person has that's their own preference, but the stuff that is consistent throughout those 10 people, like trim the fat or whatever.
Yeah, there are like some not contradictions between what someone wrote, but like someone would say, keep this shot, I love it, or get rid of that shot, I love, or I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
But the main theme was it runs long. Some of these just cut frames out of different shots.
Yeah.
So near the end, I was cutting like 1-2 frames.
Yeah, it works.
And
it helps.
It really, I was like, that's not going to do anything. And I did. I'm like, it's like psychologically, like I'd feel it, move it faster, even though I don't really see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's the thing is like when you are editing a film, do you edit like scene by scene? How do you?
Yeah, that's how I did it. This one, usually I just did it linearly.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yes.
All right, perfect.
Nice job.
Usually I would just edit like that, but with this one, we shot on a Black Magic,
Mhm.
and the huge files. It was like a Black Magic 6K, so like every
Yeah,
dump
big
was a couple
files.
100 GB. But then, so I put the scenes in, but I never had a sound guy before,
Mm-hmm.
so I had to line up all the audio to each clip, which I'd
Mhm.
never done before. So that was the first, couple weeks of the editing process. I'm like, I got to get all this audio attached. I got to do it, and then
Yeah.
I realized I can't. There's so many elements, editing assets that if I put this on one timeline, it's just going to be a mess. I won't be able to see anything. So I just would make a sequence, scene 1, scene 2, scene 3, and then I would just copy that, paste it into the timeline. That's when I got the first rough cut. And then I would take the rough cut, paste it into a different sequence, and just start cutting out of that, and just rinse, repeat.
Yeah. Please duplicate your timelines. That way it's the same as having drafts of I hate if someone writes a script and then they go and edit the original draft and they don't like duplicate it and then edit the second draft. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
That is
Which
the
I haven't
worst
done.
thing you can do, because if you delete something, like people will delete scenes and then they'll go, oh, that scene I had before was really good. How do I get that back? Just duplicate it.
See, I didn't do that ever. No.
Dude,
I
you
would just-
gotta duplicate it.
I would just save it as a PDF. I'm like, that's the first draft. And then I would just rewrite everything
Oh
on
my
the same
God.
file. Well, I
Same
can just
with
go back.
editing.
I would just click go back, the whatever the command key is to.
Yeah, but if you like close out of it and then open it up again, you can't go back. Like if you
That's-
delete something and
It's
then
in the past.
oh my God. All right. Yeah. All right.
You gotta let it go.
That's fair. That some people are like that. That's fine with me. I need to have every version of everything because I always can go back and look and say like that actually was good. I can pull that and put it back in there. But yeah, duplicate your editors, duplicate your timelines. It's not that rough. It's all reading from the same thing, especially if you use proxies. I don't have to get into it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, no. I love it. I want to know moving forward 2 things. One, when does Mulva Hill come out? What's the schedule-ish?
So it's mostly pretty much done editing. Our cinematographer, Ashton, great job. The whole crew did a great job. So big shout out to everybody. Matt Hernan, Ted Omo, Matt Leaker, everybody. Bunch of people. There's so many people on set I want to thank. But yeah, Ashton will do the green screen effects for the movie, some of the color correction. So when he gets back, think he's in Idaho now. He's doing a road trip. He's coming back, so he'll get started on that in a few weeks, and we'll probably have it out by the end of May, beginning of June, hopefully.
Okay, so August. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Well, my favorite thing about my movies is I started with I'm Glad We Met. I premiere them.
Yeah. What is that like? What do you mean you premiere them?
So I'm Glad We Met. I was just gonna throw it on YouTube, but in college, for my senior capstone, probably it wasn't a senior capstone. I called it that.
Right.
Well,
For my thesis film.
Yeah, my thesis.
Yeah.
Red Ribbon. I premiered that in a garage, my neighbor's garage, my friends who lived at UMass Amherst. We premiered it, invited all our friends, got fake red carpet, got a projector, got everything. Everyone showed up in tuxedos and suits.
Why wouldn't you do that?
Had champagne. It was awesome. One of the best
That's
nights.
sick.
It was my favorite night of college. So the premiere in UMass, and then I'm Glad We Met. My friend is like, "You got to do another premiere." I'm like,
"Yeah, it's hilarious." First of all, whether it's cheesy or you take it very seriously or whatever, like you put work into this thing.
Yeah, so show it off.
What do you like? Why would you not do that? Well, because like there's people who's like, "Oh, that's like, why would you do that?" You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's such a way
true.
to fuck off. That's why. Because I fucking put my whole life into this thing, and it's cool.
Well, it's not even that, but people just have fun. It's a party.
That's what I'm saying. It's a party. A premiere is a party. It's a fun time. It's an excuse to get together and show, at the very least, the people that helped on it,
exactly,
like what you did.
Yeah, it was a college party with like 20 minutes of movie, and then we had a great time. And then I'm Glad We Met. My friend's like, "You got to do it again."
Yeah.
And he told me that when we were drinking at the VFW in Situate.
Nice. Are you a veteran?
No, I just go to the VFW.
There you go.
Anyone can go.
Cheap booze if you go to VFW.
Cheap booze, and it goes to veterans. So
yep, that's right.
We're helping them out.
That's right. You got to help your vets.
So we went to the. There's a big event room. The VFW is a huge room. They just fully renovated it.
Yep.
So I went to the owner of the VFW. I'm like, "Can we premiere a movie here?" He's like, "What's the movie about?" I told him about it. He's like, "Okay." And so we planned a date, and we got like 150 people packed into the event room,
sick.
Dressed in suits, and everyone's buying drinks and food from the VFW. It was the VFW's biggest night, they said.
Yeah, how could they be upset about it? And then they were probably asking you, "When are you making your next movie?" Yeah,
exactly.
That's great.
So yeah, I mean, it made that business a bunch of money. Well, I had a great time showing the movie, having a party. So
if you have time after we're done recording this, I do have to talk to you about some things after. Good things,
okay,
things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, as we're talking, I'm like, the wheels are turning. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, which is good. It's all good stuff. No, that's awesome. So that was for I'm Glad We Met, was at the VFW. And are you going to do the same thing with Mulva Hill? Yeah,
I think so. I think we're going to do it at Sea Point in Southie. Nice. They have a giant upstairs venue. I might even do a raffle. I might go to South Boston, make it a whole event. Like go to South Boston restaurants and stores and be like, "You guys want to donate a gift card or something just to have the Southie event?" And if so we'll do a movie, raffle, bar.
Right. So do you sell tickets to these things, or is it like invite and then the money is made from the? I know you're not doing it to make money, but I'm saying like to pay for the venue if you have. Like, so some of these venues are nice, but they're expensive.
Yeah, VFW, we made a deal. It's just like I'll collect from the door. They'll collect all the money from the bar and the food. So it was basically free.
Sure.
We charged $5. No one was even.
If you bat an eye at $5, fuck off.
But the thing,
that's crazy.
We had a door person. I won't say who, but they took the first few tickets and then they just started doing their own thing. So it wasn't a profitable night, but it was okay. It worked out well. I'm glad everyone came and had a good time.
You need a me. That's what you need.
Yeah, I need an actual person.
You need a me who's not going to do their own thing. But go ahead.
I might have to. I work security on weekends, so I might have to do it. I might have to work door.
When you're not on set on weekends, you're working. What do you work security for?
Capo in South Bar. It's a bar.
Yeah. That's cool. Nice. You ever throw anybody out? Beat anybody up?
Not beating anyone up. Throw people out.
You're like, yes, I throw people out.
I'm the front door guy. So I'm more of a
ID checker.
ID checker, catch fake IDs, talking to people. People get kicked out. I explain why they can't come back in.
Right.
Essentially.
I'm
polite.
Let's have a conversation.
Exactly.
About why you can't come in.
That's big.
That's with drunk people. I'm sure that's very fun.
Oh, it's hilarious. It's a great time.
Like, sir, it's because you're 12. That's why you can't come back inside.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, someone's trying to get their fake ID back last night. I was explaining why they couldn't.
That's funny.
Yeah, there's all stories like that. But
so premieres, sorry.
Premiere, yeah.
It worked out well.
We're
going to do another one from Mulva Hill?
Yeah, it's Sea Point, hopefully.
That's cool. And then, so what are you trying to do? Like, what's your life like if you could have anything, right? Like if you could do whatever you want, your goals are what? To be a security guy and make movies on the weekends? Like what's your, you know what I'm saying? Like what are the goals?
Well, I'd love to make a feeture film. Mulva Hill, I think it has legs for feature. We're writing a feature. So
it is a pretty intense story for a short.
And it can go, it talks about, gentrification of Southie. I think a lot of people kind of Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
People, I think that's a theme that a lot of people will pay attention to.
In this area. Yeah.
I think the story could expand. It can go back to Charlie's past, Bob,
Oh
the character.
yeah. I like that.
So I can talk about him growing up in the 70s.
That would be very interesting. Yeah, because I wanted more of that. Like not in like a negative way. When I watched the cut of the film, it's great, but it left me wanting more. Not like it didn't have enough. I was saying like I
That's
would
good.
love to
I
learn
think,
more about that.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's maybe
Yeah.
a spin-off with Charlie's character in the 70s.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
I'd love to know who would play young Bobby. You know what I mean?
Put him in a wig.
He's a character, man.
Put him in a wig. Same.
That would be hilarious.
Put a Snapchat young age filter on him.
That would be great. That would be great. Yeah, no, I thought the story's good, and I can't wait for it to come out in December of this year. It just keeps getting pushed.
Yeah, it's gonna when it comes out in 26.
Yeah,
it's gonna
right.
be great.
May of 27. No, that's awesome. But like, so what do you just want to keep making movies?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to, hopefully maybe one day one of these short films gets picked up. I don't know, gets attention. There's a feature. See what happens. So I would love to direct features and produce movies, but obviously takes a lot of money. But if people got interested in the short films and then picked them up, I'd like to see them expand, especially this story. I like the story of the Lights Out guy. I forget his name. You've seen Lights Out, the short film?
No, I've not.
It was turned into a feature. It's that popular horror short film. It's just like the woman turns off the light in her room, and then she sees something in the shadow. It was a very $0 budget.
Yes.
So I didn't try to make something like that, but I made a movie called Last Train.
Okay.
Back in college. It's probably my most popular short film, and it was the easiest short film I've ever made in my life. Me and some friends went to our train station next to my house and just got like a weird mask that kind of looked scary. Made a 4-minute short film on the train tracks in one night, and it's one of my most popular short films. I think it's
weird.
It's got almost like 20. I got a bunch of awards for it. It was in Boston Underground, which is
crazy.
And none of my other films have gone here. Those types of festivals, but
sure.
it got like bought and put on a different website. So I think just making like the fun short films with your friends kind of leads to a lot more. So I just like to see where that leads to.
It's also the best schooling you could ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you think it's going to be one thing, and then you get there on the day, and it's just totally not what you thought it was going to be. Not in a bad way, but like there's just unforeseen things.
No, exactly. So when we were shooting that movie, the train was supposed to come one way. I read the schedule wrong, so I had the camera down this. The train went the other way. I'm like, fuck.
Right. Just click that.
I did reverse the train in one shot.
Flip that on the x-axis real quick.
Yeah,
that's really funny.
I did that for one shot. For like one of the closing shots, the train was going the other way.
Yeah.
So I just reversed the shot.
That's funny.
And it just looks exactly the same. There's no text or anything that was going across like the LED on the train, so it looked like it was going forward instead of backwards.
That's awesome. That's great. What I'm trying to think of what else. Where do we want to go? Do you have any questions for me? Anything? You want to talk about anything? Is there anything we haven't touched on that you want to touch on about these films? It's kind of all over the place, but not in a bad way.
No, I think I can't believe I was able to talk this long. I
hear that all the time.
I never thought I was worried about that.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, oh man, can I talk for an hour?
Oh, dude,
pretty easy.
It's so easy, especially when you have somebody who's like asking questions who has nothing to.
That does help a lot.
Yeah, I have no idea anything about it, and I wanted to learn more. I love that you did those premieres. I think that's so cool.
I think anybody's making a short film should have a premiere at a bar or restaurant, invite all their friends and family.
Like, why not?
Because even if people don't like the movie, they don't really care. They're there to have a party and see their friends too, and they get to see the movie too. So,
it's a great point. I don't know. Is there anything you want to touch on? Talk about?
Yeah, the short film, the Mulvihill, coming out soon. I'm glad we met.
TBD.
I would like to thank everybody who worked on Mulvihill. A lot of people came together. If I'm forgetting names, Matt Hernan was a producer, huge asset to the movie. Helped out a ton. Matt Hernan, Mia, Strom, last name, AD and everything. Charlie Norton, Matt Leaker, great sound guy. Jake Leotine helped with all the lights. He brought us a bunch of stuff. Couldn't have done without him. Ted Omo, Bob and Nolan, obviously. I'm trying to think of everybody on the crew right now, so I'm not forgetting names.
Sure.
Just give them all thanks. Ashton, obviously, the director of cinematography, did a ton of stuff on that. So the whole crew who came out and helped, thank you. Couldn't have done without them. It would have been a completely different movie without them. So
yep. No, that's
very,
awesome.
Very thankful for them too.
That's all. When it comes out, you got to come back on so we can talk about it in depth.
Absolutely.
I just don't want to give too much away with this here. But yeah, no, I think it's a good story, and we can talk about more off air. for Mulva Hill. The poster is up on the screen here, which you sent me, which I appreciate. And if you can send me the poster for
I'm glad we met.
Glad We Met, so I can put that up
Yeah.
as well, because we talked a lot about that. Yeah, no, it's great. I think you're a very talented guy, and very understated. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just so loud and obnoxious that whenever I meet somebody who's very good, I don't know why. I think in my head I expect them to be like loud and obnoxious like me. Maybe you know what I mean?
No,
But I find that people who are very like who make really good stuff are calm and quiet and just like, yeah, I just want to make movies.
it's fun.
Whatever. Like,
It's yeah, I just have fun with it. I mean, one thing I was going to touch on was in college, especially during COVID. I was making a bunch of these short sketches, short films all the time.
sure,
And I think that's one of the most fun things you do with your friends. Just grab a camera and do something dumb on a Saturday and just
love it.
upload it to Instagram or YouTube. Made right when COVID started, me and my
Mhm.
friend made a movie called Out of Quarantine.
Oh, that's
I
cool.
think it was like March 13th was when COVID started, so it
Yep.
was like March 15th.
Oh my god.
The sketch is about two guys who ran out of beer during lockdown, and they have to go to 7-Eleven and try to get beer, and it becomes this whole thing in the middle of the movie.
That's
So just
funny.
fun sketches like that. I
That's
think
great.
everyone should be encouraged to do that.
I was working with these two college kids. They're like two of the best writers that I've ever met. Jack Barricky, Alex Hansman. They're amazing. Um, they were on college break, winter break, whatever, in December of 2020, and we made like 6 films in a month, like short
Yeah, just like
films.
something you can film in a day and edit
It
together.
was me behind the camera. I'm not a DP. It's me behind the camera. They wrote the stuff. They starred in the stuff, and like we just made stuff to make stuff because nothing was happening because it was lockdown.
Yeah,
So much fun. We didn't give a shit about if it was like gonna, you know, go anywhere or get tons of
exactly.
views. Or
I've noticed the people who aren't in the film industry, they don't really care if it's not pristine quality, if the lighting's not perfect, or
Yeah.
if everything's like. So if you just film something with your, I mean, hopefully the audio is good and everything, but
sure.
I found if you just kind of like go shoot something and post it online, most people are going to be pretty happy. I mean, look at TikTok; it's not the highest quality stuff, and those. I don't like TikTok. I don't say that for movies, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, people that make
Film
movies,
something.
vertical movies, I can't.
I've tried to post some of my scenes vertically on TikTok. I got frustrated after two. I'm like, oh, fuck, I can't do this. This is
Yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah. It's not. It's just
Because
not
I
my
put the
favorite.
scene like in the filter to make it like a reel, but then the camera would cut to a different actor, so now their face is just not in the reel. It's just the background in the TikTok. So it was a
Mhm.
pain in the ass to edit. So
It
I'm
is.
not going to do it. I deleted TikTok when I went to Instagram Reels.
Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah. I'm some TikTok. It's like fun. It's like so much mindless scrolling. You know what I
Well,
mean?
same with
It's
Instagram
like,
Reels. Now I'm just like all the time.
yeah, yeah. I have a tendency. I feel bad for the people that are on this list, but my like top 6 on Instagram are just people that I just send reels to constantly.
I send Reels to like
You
3
know?
people. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't.
like
So,
you know what I mean. But you have,
I'm a
but they end up
tougher-
when you click that little airplane, that
Oh,
paper
if I
airplane.
had to search, for their names, they wouldn't be getting them. But just because I tap that and they're right there, I'm like, all right, there you go.
This reminds me of this guy. This guy will agree with me on this one. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, no, I find that so funny. Thank you for driving up and coming on. You're always welcome to come back on any time that you're around. We do the
This
show
is
every
fun.
week.
I'm happy to do it.
Yeah.
Another plug, might be working on a history series soon. A big history buff, so we're trying to
Are you
get.
actually?
Yeah. So
What's your favorite subject history wise? Like
def-
American history?
American
like,
history, early American history,
amazing.
like colonial period up to Civil War, and then
Oh, we're
after
gonna
that,
have such a good conversation after this.
exactly.
Um,
So
yeah,
we want to do like a
Civil
first
War.
episode. I want to do something on the Dorchester Heights because I live right next to Dorchester Heights, and I got this. I got really big into history over the past few years, and my brother and some other people got me a bunch of history books. One of them is called 1776 by Dave McCullough. And so I'm just reading the book, and then I'm reading this chapter about the siege of Dorchester Heights. And I'm like, this is the street I'm on right now. And so overnight, one night, George Washington and an army of like thousands quietly went up the hill in the middle of the night, just took over the hill and barricaded it right where the British was in Boston Harbor.
That's sick.
So the British woke up the next morning, they saw that they had fortified it, couldn't do anything about it. They had to leave Boston. So that's why Evacuation Day is a thing in Boston. But so I wanted to do a small documentary on that where we kind of just film the modern landmarks of that area, but add sound effects to make it seem like the battle,
Interesting.
not
little,
the battle.
Ken Burnsy, but
Yeah,
like
Ken Burns, but some like actual, filming a bunch of triple deckers in Southie, but being like, well, this is where
So
Washington's
I've
Army
never
marched up.
been to one, and I feel like there's a general consensus that some people think they're kind of cringy. But there's a I saw on Instagram actually an ad for a Civil War reenactment that's happening in Boston in a couple of weeks.
Really?
In April, I think April 20th or something. There's
Oh,
like
send me that. I would love to check that out.
I will send it to you after this. But I'd love to go like watch that.
I was thinking about going to Gettysburg on the 4th of July. They're doing a reenactment.
That's sick. Have you oh, and this is can't get in, I don't want to get too political with stuff, but we'll talk after. Because there's a lot of stuff that's cool that's happening for a celebration of 250 years. You know what I mean? And
Oh yeah, the 2020.
I think there's going to be a lot of
Definitely a lot of cool events going on. Hopefully,
but yeah, because the person in charge is big on the pomp and circumstance. So I think that there's going to be a lot of, regardless of how you feel about anything, I feel like things
fireworks
are
everywhere.
Yeah, lots of overdone, lots of not overdone, but just like
it won't be subtle.
Right, that's the right way to say that. I think there's going to just be a lot. Okay, of celebration and reenactments and historical things and stuff like that, which I think is very, very cool. Have you watched? Because you're a big American history guy. Have you watched? Do you have HBO?
I watched John Adams.
Have you?
Yep, that's my favorite show. One of my favorite shows on John Adams.
It is
on
so
HBO.
good. It's so good.
I rewatched it a lot.
I recommend everybody watch that series. I watched it in like 10th grade, and then I've watched it like 3 times since then.
I would like them to do a series like that for a bunch of different founding fathers. I think it'd be great. The same, can't get the same cast probably, but the same type of series, like a 10-episode series on the life of them.
Yeah,
and
from the different perspectives and all that other stuff. It's very interesting. Oh, okay, yeah. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. Yeah, no, I knew that you would like that, and you like The Sopranos too. And now I'm pissed that we haven't worked together over the last couple of years.
I know what happened.
I hope we work together in the future.
I mean, you were because I was one of the first people on set. I got up there early. I think you were the only guy in the building when I showed up on my first day of work. You were in your office in that Topsfield. Yeah, it was Topsfield.
Yeah,
right?
with the big desk. And
yes.
Yeah.
So you were the first person in my, I guess, the start of my actual film career.
Wow.
If that's a way to think about
it. I got to give the credit to Evan though, because if you didn't,
Evan did hire me, so thank you, Evan.
Yeah, no, Evan's great. He's going to be on
Film
soon.
Tools.
He was supposed to be on a couple weeks ago, but I had to go on vacation, and then we had like some scheduling things, and he had a set to be on, so he'll be on soon. Lots of people are coming on. This is why I love doing this.
It's fun. Yeah, this is cool. I'm glad I did it.
We have we have the opportunity to like learn more about each other and then connect on something cool. And like if you make a Civil War movie, like I'm there. You know what I mean?
I want to make a Civil War movie. That'd be sweet.
But like a cool one, you know?
Yeah,
like a good one.
I want to make a funny one too. I think
we
it'd be
should make
funny,
a funny one. I think that there are a lot of stories that don't get told. Like not everything's about the concept to me that during the Civil War, people would picnic on the outside of battles,
and like
a
cannon would blast right near them.
They would, because it was like frontline warfare, right?
Yeah.
So there's people fighting, but then there'd be like a mom with her 6 children sitting on the side of the battle, eating a sandwich and like watching dad and the brothers. Yes, I know, but I'm saying like that was a thing. Like people would go and watch a battle.
Yeah, I think it was the first.
That's crazy to me.
It's the first modern war, I think, because if you go over the American Revolution, obviously it'd get pretty bloody, but sometimes it would just be
nothing's as bloody as a Civil War.
Yeah, exactly. People didn't know that. I think that's when the Gatling gun was like first brought in. So.
Yes, I just had this conversation with somebody recently. The Gatling gun was invented in the Civil War.
So imagine you're used to swords and shitty muskets, and then all of a sudden someone just starts blasting a Gatling gun. You start getting ricochets. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
dude?
people are just like falling over,
Yeah.
cut in half, like insane stuff. I don't know. I think that'd be very fun to shoot, and I'm big on like practical effects.
That could be one of the movies, The Picnic at the Civil War.
That would be great. That would be an interesting short.
That would be a good idea.
Ooh, we'll talk after.
Yeah.
We'll talk about some after stuff. I didn't say in the beginning, but I should have. Make sure you subscribe to the channel because we have some really big things happening. And I can't wait to work with you on stuff in the future. Andrew Connelly, thanks so much. Where can people like follow you? Either like YouTube or Instagram or
YouTube,
whatever?
YouTube, Big Red Productions. There's a website, bigredproductions.net. That's where all the movies get posted. And
I'm subscribed, so
yeah, absolutely. And then on Instagram, Big Red Productions. And there's you might find if you go on YouTube or Instagram, I think there's like a school in Indiana, a high school in Indiana that used that as their film class in like 2016.
But this is the logo.
This is right here. Yeah, on the
God,
water bottle.
You have merch, you have everything.
Yeah, I have everything.
I love it.
I got stickers too. I can give you one.
Please do. I'll put it on one of the computers. That'd be great.
Sweet.
Yeah,
but yes, Big Red Productions online, bigredproductions.net, Instagram. That's where you can find me.
Thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for having
Subscribe,
me.
like this video, share it with your friends, get his name out there. Me too, maybe.
Absolutely. The
And
show's awesome. I want to see it. I want to see everybody on here.
dude, me too. But for mostly because I just like talking like this.
Yeah, this is fun.
Every time, see, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people, like, you know how you have your friends who are like, they'll call you and be like, "Hey, do you want to go like to the park and throw the football around or whatever?" You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
people that
sure.
like to do that. Hey, Andrew, you want to go rock climbing on Saturday? Like those kind of people. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'll go. Like that's fun. I am the kind of person. If you're calling me to hang out, we're doing this. Not like even necessarily recorded, but that's part of the reason that I like wanted to start doing the show, because I'm like, wait, so I'm talking to all these filmmakers and people like when we hang out regularly. And like there's some really interesting conversations. Why am I not recording it and putting it out there for the
Exactly. I
world
mean,
to
this is fun.
Yeah, it was.
And the set's awesome.
Oh, well,
I will
thanks.
say the set is amazing.
Thanks.
I was watching the clips on Instagram and the full episode. I was like, damn, the
Mhm.
set is fantastic.
Yeah,
And the
that's
lighting.
yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. I worked hard on it. I put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. A lot of tears.
I bet.
A lot of sleepless nights. But it
Paid off though.
It is currently paying off. I may not even stay here. I want to buy a warehouse so that I can like
Really?
build sets and
I was looking
build
at-
it bigger. And
I was on your channel. I looked at the oldest video. The first video was
Oldest
just you at a computer desk, right? Just kind of
yeah, long time ago. Oh, oldest video from this
Yes,
series. Yeah, that's in Ipswich, which I never really did anything structural with that place, like as a studio. It was like I just kind of left. Brought equipment in, but this was like gutted.
Really?
And we like we built this.
no shit.
Oh yeah. This was not like this in the beginning. It was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic job.
Well, thanks. It was I've had a lot of help, and a lot of work went into it, but I don't know. I'm just very like, this is the way it's going to be done, or it's not going to be done.
Yeah.
And so this is what happens when you listen to me. Like,
That's
you know what I mean?
perfect.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And we shot a music video in here very recently, a couple weekends ago, with like green screens and stuff. Like it's totally, yeah, I love it. It's very fun. Good
Nice.
stuff. Yeah. All right. Thank you. That's enough for this one. Next Monday, I don't know who will be on, if anyone, but it'll be someone, and or not. And you'll listen to me rant about random things in my life. Like and subscribe. Nick Williams Show every Monday. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, there you go. Easy, right?
Wow.
Yeah.